Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. This is a pretty exciting one for me. Earlier this season we did a tackle tip talking about musky leaders, and I talked about some leaders that I personally use, and I had a lot of questions on them, a lot of feedback on them, and I wanted to help you guys get a hold of these leaders yourself. So I teamed up with a company I talk about a lot, Leaders and Lures, with Gene, and came out with a whole line of leaders, okay, that I specifically designed for myself and for you guys to use. So all these products will be available on Gene's website, leadersandlures.com, and we just got them on the site just for you guys right now. So we're kind of in limited quantities, but work with us. We're getting them put together as fast as we can. I'm going to go through the whole line of leaders I got here. I got trolling stuff, casting stuff. Basically everything I will have in my boat to fish muskies is in this lineup right here. I'm going to show you guys kind of why I did some of the things I did, and really can really get into some of the technical stuff later on in the video if you guys want to see that stuff as well. So first off, the first leader that came to mind, or that I really wanted to design, was my bucktail light leader, what I use for bucktails, and it's a short 6-inch wire leader, 0.29 in diameter, which comes out to about 175 pounds. Okay, and it's short, it's 6 inches long. Okay, and the reason I like to do wire is it actually helps transfer some of the vibration from your blades into the wire itself, and it gives your bucktail a little bit different sound, and can be the difference between getting a bite or not getting a bite. And like I said, it's that different vibration versus what some people might have using a fluorocarbon leader. All right, all the leaders that I have as well come with the option that I personally like, the welded ring. So instead of having a solid or a stay-lock snap, I have a solid welded ring here at the bottom. This is rated for up to 300 pounds and is really effective, and what I like to use so you don't have to worry about the snap breaking. I've had snaps break, I've had friends had snaps break. You lose fish get stuck with baits in their mouth. So I connect all my baits with split rings. Okay, I use a split ring that'll go onto a brand new bucktail I got here. I'll put a split ring onto every single bait, and then I attach it simply with a split ring pliers right to the solid ring, okay, at the bottom. So that's how I attach my baits, to eliminate any kind of failure, so I know for sure once I hook that fish, it's one less thing I have to worry about in the back of my head. All right. I also came out with, I had the 6-inch model, right, and I also came out with a 9-inch model. All right, I really like shorter leaders. Okay, 6 inches is obviously very short, and so is 9. The reason I went with the short leader is because I like to get a little bit more space on my figure eights, more room on my turn. The shorter your leader, the wider your turns are going to be in your figure eight, and the more strikes you're going to get because of that. The longer your leader, it makes your corners a lot smaller, and sometimes those fish will scare off because of that. So short leaders, 6-inch and 9-inch. Okay, 6-inchers are kind of what I'm going to use in scenarios where I don't have a lot of snags or a lot of rocks to worry about, because you will get abrasion on your line if you get snagged and you try and jiggle that bait out of the snag. Sometimes your main line will actually rub on that rock. So in that case, if I'm fishing in Canada or someplace where there's a lot of rocks, I'll grab a 9-inch leader, and then with that I don't have to worry about, you know, it's 3 more inches of wire to try and protect my braided line. Okay, and again, I do still offer them with a stay lock. I know a lot of people like stay lock snaps. They are really good, they are effective. I personally just don't trust them. Eventually over time they will break. The more you open them and close them, they are going to weaken, and they do break. It just is what it is. If you guys want to just buy replacement snaps, Gene carries those as well. I highly recommend, if you guys run stay locks, to have extra ones of these in your boat. Constantly be changing them. They're very cheap. It's cheap insurance for your fish. Okay, so I got the 2 wire leaders, obviously, and then I needed to do something for pull pause stuff, okay, like rubber. And I personally don't like using steel because they can get kinked really easily if it gets like fouled around the front hook. So I came and talked to Gene and listened to actually some of the stuff you guys had, and said you had issues with fish biting through fluorocarbon. So I made 2 49 strand wire leaders. Okay, I made them in 90 pound and 130 pound weights. So what's cool about this is it's a 49 strand braided wire that is basically impossible for a fish to bite its teeth through. The 90 pound is with actually got a little coating on the wire itself, and then the 130 pound will have it's just the bare wire. Okay, we can't get the wire without the coating. So the small coating on the 49 strand wire is really nice, keeps everything nice and smooth. But with these, you can wrap them around your finger, you can do kind of whatever you want to them. You can honestly tie them in a knot, and they're not going to kink on you. Okay, so we'll open this back up. No issues, right? Straight as an arrow. So this is a cool kind of option we went with over the fluorocarbon. I do carry a fluorocarbon leader as well. but it is a 130 pound 9-inch fluorocarbon leader. And then the 49 strand stuff is 9 inch as well, so nice and short, again, to help you with your turns and your figure eights. I also want to design a trolling leader. Okay, trolling is obviously something I do a lot on Green Bay as well as in Canada, and I wanted to make the leaders a little bit longer. I think a lot of your leaders come in 36 or 40 inch size lengths, and I wanted to make 60 inches. So I've got an 80 pound and a 100 pound option, both in 100% fluorocarbon. So that extra length really helps me, especially in Green Bay when I'm running an inline weight. It gets my weight that much further away from my bait itself. So I'm going to have a 2 ounce weight or a 1 ounce weight in front of my lure, and that extra 12 to 24 inches gets it that much further away from the bait and is going to get me some more bites. And again, guys, all the leaders come with either your ring option or your stay lock option in all the different variations and sizes. All right, so that's a quick rundown on the leaders themselves. I did actually change a few things and have some things that are really unique to just this leader. The design that I came out with was to actually cut part of the ball bearing off. So if you guys look at this leader here, this ball bearing swivel actually has the ring cut off, and we attach the wire right to the ball bearing, right? And then we have the ring, the welded ring on the other end. So in this case, and you can attach these two different ways. I personally tie my main line from my muskie rod right to this ring, and then my baits get attached to this barrel swivel, right? So what this is going to do is it's going to give your bait that much more free range of motion, especially if you're working gliders. Not only can your bait go left and right, it's got 360 degrees of motion, right? And there's all kinds of ways you can really get the more action out of that bait with we call it a cut ball bearing. All right. One thing you notice with these leaders is they're all crimped. Okay, all the leaders are crimped, whether it's wire, fluorocarbon, the 49 strand, everything is crimped. The cool thing about crimping wire is that it takes that much less stress out of the wire. If you tie a knot with wire or you twist wire, that is instantly your weakest point of the whole entire system. So when you crimp it, it doesn't weaken the wire nearly as much, and Gene is a master when it comes to crimps. He's got all different sizes. For each specific size, the loop on the end is very, very important, and we'll get into more of that technical stuff towards the end here. But this is my 6-inch leader that I'm going to use for bucktails. Topwaters too are really nice to work on these, especially the smaller ones. You don't want to kill that action by really sinking that topwater with a heavy fluorocarbon leader that sinks. Sure, steel sinks, but at the same time, it's probably half the length of a fluorocarbon. Your diameter is a lot smaller, and it's not going to kill the action of your smaller topwaters. Gliders as well, like I said, you're going to get that much more range of movement out of attaching your bait to the cut ball bearing than you will the solid steel ring. And the other reason I did the cut ball bearing is it takes out one hinge that I was actually kind of getting fouled with, and we needed to eliminate that. So with cutting the one ring off of it, we kind of made it more direct to the bait, and there's not so much play where things can get fouled up. It's that much less there, but we still get the 360 range of motion. And I've had a couple people actually ask me how I personally attach these, so I'm gonna tie on one of these leaders real quick. I'll tie on that 6-incher for you guys to see, and I'll show you how easy it is to attach your baits this way. And it's like I say, why I do the solid welded ring is simply for peace of mind. Got my braid here. Like I said, I'm going to tie this directly to the welded ring. I personally tie Palomar. I tie it with everything. It's yet to fail me. Watch your line. Now, when I cut this, I'm pretty gracious on the tag end. I'm not too worried about that. I leave it fairly long. If you want to burn the end of it so there's a nice ball on the end of it, you can do that as well. Okay, so this is how I tie my leader on. I've got a brand new bucktail here, and one thing we should talk about too is split ring size. Okay, there's 3 different sizes of split rings. They're very common sizes of split rings: 7s, 6s, and 5s. Okay, and they're obviously 3 different sizes. They do carry 3 different capacities for weight. The number 5 split rings are rated for, they're 75 pounds. The number 6s are 95 pound, and the number 7s are 195 pound, okay? And I basically match up the size of the split ring with the size of the bait. The smaller baits, I'm gonna go with the smaller ring. The bigger baits, I'm gonna go with the bigger ring. So this 8/9 stagger I would consider to be kind of a middle of the road. So I'm gonna go with a number 6 split ring. Split ring pliers, open this up, grab our stagger. There, so now every single bait in my box, including this brand new one, is gonna keep its own split ring on there, okay? It just lessens the fatigue. You're not using the same split ring over and over and over for every single bait. Okay, now we've got our split ring on there. I'm gonna grab this bait out of my box. Grab your split ring pliers. Once you get good with it, you can just do it with your fingernail, but you just attach it, spin it on, just like that, okay? That is the strongest connection you can have between your leader and your bait, right there. Split ring to ball bearing, right? No snaps, no issues. That is how I connect every single one of my baits, and it's just, like I say, one less thing in the back of my mind I don't have to worry about. Now, getting into some of the technical stuff, I'm sure some of you guys want to hear it, is our weight on our ball bearing swivels. Okay, all the barrel bearing swivels are 140 pounds. Okay, all the welded rings are 250 pounds. The stay lock options with the leaders, the number 5 stay locks are 300 pounds and the number 4 stay locks are rated for 200 pounds. The design criteria for each one of these leaders is specific to each leader depending on the diameter of the material. So the loop, it's basically saying the size of the loop on your leader is changed, or Gene changes it depending on the thickness of the material. So a 130 pound fluorocarbon crimp is going to have a lot larger eye than a crimp on an 80 pound fluorocarbon leader, okay? So you need to have that the right size loop to get the most strength as possible out of your leader. Again, if you were to tie these leaders or fish with leaders that are tied with a knot, you're gonna weaken your leader at that point. That is by far the weakest point if there's no abrasion on the leader itself. So the crimping is very, very important, and Gene takes a lot of pride in that. The sleeves are all American made, and they're designed with an aerospace retaining compound that actually helps bond it that much more once the crimp is put in place. And every crimp is tightened within 0.02 of an inch. All right, this is all like aerospace technology and medical field technology and stuff that's way above our heads as fishermen, but Gene goes way above and beyond with that technology in his leaders and his crimps. Everything is 100% lifetime warranty. Gene's had over 1 million crimps in his shop and has had 0 failures in any of them at all. And one last thing with the fluorocarbon too is each fluorocarbon, the crimp tools are designed for each specific size of fluoro, so it's not over crimped or under crimped. Again, guys, this is way over our heads, but it's something Gene takes into effect with all of his stuff, and I honestly am not worried about fishing a crimped leader over a tied leader whatsoever. If anything, I have more confidence in the crimps over the ties just due to the sheer strength of it. Again, guys, I just want to go over them all quick. We have the 6-inch wire, the 9-inch wire, okay, both for your bucktails or your jerkbait, stuff like that. We have your 130 pound fluorocarbon for you guys that still love fluorocarbon in that short 9-inch size. We have the 49 strand braided in 90 pound and 130 pound, as well as the trolling leaders in 100 pound fluorocarbon and 80 pound fluorocarbon, both with the different snaps, either the stay lock snap or the welded ring option. So hopefully, if you guys are looking for a new leader, I would highly suggest these. We put a lot of time and effort into them, and I'm really excited to get out in the water and use these new leaders this year. I've been playing with them for the last 3 years with Gene, and I want to help you guys, have to worry about one less thing in the boat, and I know and have confidence that this leader will put the fish in the bag.